Hello everyone, today we have more information regarding the ATF's new rulemaking decision change on firearm frame or receivers. I got some bullet points that I've written down here. There's a lot of information going out there that was speculative, including the video I made yesterday where we were speculating based off the initial proposed rulemakings by the ATF. But today, the Biden administration came out, did a press conference. He talked about Kevlar vests on deer. He talked about all kinds of stuff that just didn't really make sense. Said the AFT multiple times, announced a new potential head of the ATF. We will see how that plays out in the future. But there's a lot of information that's still floating around even after the new information came out and it's correct that isn't true. I wasn't planning on making a video today. I was hoping that a channel like Fudbusters would have a chance to do a much more thorough deep dive into it, but I wanted to give out the bullet points of what the hell is going on today. If you appreciate this kind of information, if you appreciate this channel, if you learned anything today, whether or not it's information you like or dislike, go ahead and drop a like. Feel free to use any of the links down in the description. I am going to read off to you some of the bullet points of this. I will have it linked down in the description below so that you can do it with this information and read through the whole 386-page document that most people probably have not read through all the way through. So, some big points. So, first things first that I want to get out of the way before I even get into anything else, no, AR-15 uppers do not need a serial number. If a gun store comes in contact with an AR-15 upper, you do not need a serial number on it. There is a specific part of the actual rule that discusses previously approved designs. Those designs will not change. So as of right now, the lower receiver on an AR is the firearm. The upper receiver on a SCAR is the firearm. The chassis inside of a P320 is the firearm. Things that are currently on the market that are currently considered the firearm of the gun, those will not change. You do not need to get a serial number on your upper receiver. The big thing that this is targeting is the build buy shoot kits, from my understanding. Now, existing designs will be the status quo, but if you have a 80% receiver that you want to buy, you can still do that. It seems even after this goes into effect in either 120 or 180 days, can't remember off the top of my head, you will still be able to get 80%. It's not going to affect 3D printing at all. It's not going to affect bar stock or solid materials. The readily convertible part is still a potential issue. However, it seems as if for currently known designs, status quo, you will still be able to get 80%. The 80% build buy shoot kits does seem like those will be affected. Selling a kit with the jigs and the tools included with the 80%, that seems like it's a potential no-go, which doesn't really make sense. Why would the part be legal to buy, the tools be legal to buy, but if you buy the part and the tools, then it's all of a sudden readily convertible? But if you buy the part later after buying the tools, or the tools later after buying the part, it doesn't really make sense, and this is very vague, but that's just how the ATF does business. So 80% build buy shoot kits, which were already previously targeted by the ATF, those are no longer going to be a thing. If you just want to buy 80%, it seems as if that's still going to be good to go. The big question is for future designs, new styles of firearms that show up, will you have to get that? Will that have to be different? Likely. With any new firearm design that reaches the market that's new and novel, never been done before, you would have to get approval by the ATF to determine which part is the firearm if it's a split receiver like a upper and lower on an AR, like a SCAR, like many other modern firearms are. If you are already in possession of a milled out firearm, a personally manufactured firearm that doesn't have a serial number, you do not need to put a serial number on it per the federal rules. However, if an FFL, a manufacturer, comes in contact with, or a pawn shop or a gun store comes in contact with your personally manufactured firearm, they will have to put a serial number and log it into their books, basically making it as if it is their firearm. So if that previously personally manufactured firearm ends up on the streets, the government would then know, hey, at one point it was at this gun store. That's all they're going to know. Are they going to be able to track that information? Probably not. Can criminals still just remove serial numbers? Yeah. Were there only 600 total attempted or successful murders or homicides with ghost guns from 2016 to 2020? Yeah. That's 600 in in 2022. That's 600 in 5 years, right? Does that seem like that big of a deal? No, not to me. Now, another big issue that I don't even understand because it's so vague and so confusing is that suppressors are also being affected by this. The way it was worded in such a way that it seemed almost like a tube. Any tube of metal would be considered a suppressor. So we're likely seeing, this is just speculation, don't take too much into this part right here. I think this is going to be the potential end of Form 1 suppressors, because if you can't buy a tube of metal and then turn it into a suppressor, what can you do? I guess you could mill from a solid bar stock of aluminum, you can mill that out, but to me it seems like suppressors for Form 1s are likely going to be affected negatively with this. This is going to take a whole lot more analysis from lawyers, which I am not. Now, the new ATF director isn't as bad as Chipman, but he's definitely anti-gun, and we're going to have a big fight ahead of us. If you want to support organizations like GOA, FPC, NAGR, feel free to do so. I will have links down to some of their websites so you can check them out so that they can help fight that. Those are the big things. So you might be wondering, can I right now go buy a 3D printer? Yes. Can you right now go and buy an 80% lower? Yes. Can you right now go out and buy a ghost gunner? Yes. You can do a lot of things right now currently. Can you right now go out and buy a build, buy, shoot kit? No. The ATF already stopped that and put a crackdown on that. This rule change seems to them just be solidifying it, but it doesn't seem as if right now you will no longer be able to buy 80% lowers, which is fortunate. This is not as bad as we thought it could have been. It's definitely not as bad as it really could have been and how they wanted it to be. Again, to clarify, upper receivers of an AR-15 will not need a serial number. They will not be treated like firearms. You will still be able to get those. For current designs on the market, status quo. You do not need to serialize your upper. I'm going to be very clear with that. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. Hopefully someone better educated, more prepared, with better resources is able to make a better video than this, at which point I will be linking people to that. The only reason I'm putting this out is because I've been getting so many questions and seeing a lot of bad information on the internet. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.